Welcome back to Golden Goose and my Team Builder Dynasty series that follows the South Canadian Wild Geese. We won the Armed Forces Bowl in the last episode, and now this episode is all about the offseason. Setting up a new recruiting board, sealing old recruits, cutting players, training players, signing coaching contracts. So if you like the offseason, if you like the rebuilding aspect of this, you're going to love this episode. And also make sure you hit that like button if you guys are excited for next season. I'd really appreciate that. But we're starting off this episode with signing a new coaching contract for Goose Johnson. That's going to keep him here for 5 years. Well, that's kind of what he's currently on. He's here till 2017. So now what we're going to do is we're advancing to players leaving. This is the sad part. So we're losing a couple players to transfers. I mean, none of these guys are overly insane. I mean, we would like to keep Bernard if he wants to stay, so maybe we'll try to convince him. We just can't make these promises. Sorry, Bernard, you're going to have to go. We're losing Lorne Dennis. He wasn't too utilized all season, but he's gone at wide receiver. Blankenship's gone. Oh, poor Dusty Blankenship. Then we're losing a left guard in Tucker, a left tackle, middle linebacker, a ton of cornerbacks. Look at that. Fullback. Halfback Ron Swanson's gone. Fry's gone. Harrell's gone. Fowler's gone. Good. You guys could stop saying how I can't pronounce his name right. Brewer's gone. This is a nightmare. We're losing a lot of great players here to graduation. No one's going pro. Here's the draft results. No Wild Geese were taken. And no players want to transfer into South Canadian Wild Geese territory, so kind of sad. Okay, we're in a recruiting battle with a few schools. It's time to go into recruiting and try to seal some of these recruits up. So honestly, we're in the lead for most of these prospects. Literally pretty much every single one except like 2 or 3. We have 10,000 points. We just want to make sure we secure what we really need. And if we look at our needs here, they're going down to, we definitely need maybe a quarterback. We already got a couple. Some wide receivers and tight ends for sure. And then offensive line 100%. And halfbacks. So, I mean, we have tons of holes and needs. And look at this, middle linebackers, cornerbacks, athletes. We need anything we can get. So anything and everything we can get, we're going to take. Okay, so I do want to toss some points at this punter. We have a decent lead on him. I'm not going to toss the barn at him or anything, but just like 250 points. See if we can secure him with that. This outside linebacker, we don't have a giant lead on, and he's an amazing athlete. So I think I'm going to toss like 500 points his way. He is a JUCO 3-star, but he's 80 overall. This man's insane. Martin Morgan, this athlete literally can play any and every position on offense and defense. So, I mean, we do not want to lose this recruit. We're going to toss 500 his way as well. Maybe actually like 600, just because he's so versatile. He could be a wide receiver. He could be a quarterback. He could be a running back. He could be a cornerback, a strong safety. I mean, there's so many positions he can play. Our kicking position does need a little bit of a tune-up, and we do have a decent lead on this man, so we're going to probably just toss 250 his way and hope that's enough to seal him up. Now this halfback, Jeff Greenwood, 77 overall, 5-star athlete. We're going to toss the barn at this man. We want this guy bad. He's a balanced halfback. I think we're going to toss like 2,000 points his way. Make sure we can secure this 5-star candidate. He's going to be so good as the years pass. And then we have another quarterback. We did sign David Neal, so I mean, we don't have to put too much priority here. This guy's balanced as well, and we do have a decent depth at quarterback right now. So I think we're going to maybe toss 350 at him, see if we land him. This defensive end, we do need to really improve our defense, so we're going to definitely toss a few points his way. Now, once we go down the recruiting board, we probably will go back and try to address some recruits and add a little bit more points. Like this center, we really badly need a new center. We needed one all season. So I think I'm going to toss 750 points towards this center. Make sure we can get him over Michigan, Utah. He's got some great choices. If he comes to the Wild Geese, that's just going to help us out. Middle linebacker. We're losing to this guy. But if we could secure him over Kent, that would be huge. This guy's going to be a great asset to have in the center of the defense. So let's send like, I don't know, we're down by quite a bit on him. I don't know, maybe we can send like 1,500 his way, try to secure him, offer him a scholarship, stuff like that. Let's do that. Tackle, definitely need offensive linemen, anyone we can get. We're definitely going to be making a lot of cuts this season too, so we barely have the lead over Florida. Definitely want to toss some points at this guy so he knows we're really, really interested. Another center. I mean, we're not in first place for him. This is like a 3-way tie between a lot of great schools here. So I think we'll just toss another 700 his way. And then wide receivers, Eric Bell. Man, I thought this guy was going to commit a year ago. Still hasn't committed. Still iffy, wishy-washy. We're going to throw 500 at him. He'd be a great asset. Possession wide receiver, great up the middle, great in the slot. Another wide receiver, Josh Moore, another possession player. So, I mean, we're just going to toss a lot of points at these guys because we badly need wide receivers. So we're just going to see what we can get with these points we toss. Strong safeties. We're barely losing the recruiting battle to LSU on this one. So let's toss like 600 his way. Middle linebacker, we're down 45. We're using a lot of our points right now. We're going to have to go through and adjust some of these guys. I mean, we're barely losing this corner right now, barely losing this corner. I mean, we don't want to lose some of these battles. We got the rest of these recruits sealed up. So, I mean, maybe we just go back and adjust some of these points just a wee bit. Like maybe we throw 1,000 at Brian Roberts just so we have a little bit of points to go after some of these guys that we're in really close battles with down here. So this cornerback, I mean, we're not, God, it's so close between Tulane here. We can go with like 350. I don't know if that's going to get him. We're losing to the Aggies on this one. I don't know. I'll probably try to toss 150 his way. We're winning that one. Barely, though. I don't know. We're just going to let whatever happens, happens. I'm pretty excited about our recruiting board. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so here's who we got to commit to our team. Martin Morgan, who is an athlete. He's put at wide receiver automatically, 78 overall. We got the kicker. Oh, you committed to Notre Dame? We threw 2,500 points at this halfback, and he committed to Notre Dame. That quarterback committed to Syracuse. We got a left end, another wide receiver, a center, a middle linebacker, a cornerback. I mean, not the recruiting setup I wanted, but, I mean, we got some solid recruits. Did this guy not commit to any team yet? Signing day, we didn't sign him. I mean, is he going to sign with us, this punter? If we look here, everyone else is committed to a team. Man, a lot of these recruits did go our way, though, I have to say. It was a pretty decent recruiting year. Losing some of these defensive players, though, really sucks. We need more cornerbacks. It's going to be a little dicey out there this season. So here we are in position changes. So this is where we're going to kind of go through and see if any of these players that are deeper on the depth chart could play a different position. Obviously, Orlando Everett is our sophomore. He's going to be our backup quarterback by default this year as David Neal. We got him. He's a 2-star prospect only, but I think he's a gem. He's a JUCO junior scrambler, so he does have 2 seasons with the team. He's going to have some decent speed. I mean, he's not faster than Orlando Everett, but I just think he's got just maybe a little bit better arm than him, and he definitely does. So, I mean, this is probably the greatest little situation we could be in right now with David Neal. It's not electrifying at the quarterback position, but we'll just see what he can do as he develops over this season. So Nathan Quinn will be getting the start at halfback again. He is a senior, though, so this will be his last season. We have a sophomore red shirt right now backing him up in Roden, and Thorne is all the way down here at 61 overall. Now, can we change any of these guys? Are they better at any other position? Wide receiver, I mean, this guy's definitely not great anywhere else, really. I mean, he could be a 52 overall fullback. Otherwise, he's 64 overall wide receiver. I mean, that's okay, but I think our wide receiving position is actually pretty deep right now. We look at it 73, 68, 68, 66, 64. Yeah, so we really don't need him. But this freshman, Eric Bell, I'm so excited to have this guy on our team. Then obviously Scruggs, Golden, all these guys are getting a little bit better. Scruggs, 73 overall, best receiver we have. Our tight end is a 60 overall. I mean, that's okay. So here's the athlete we just signed, a 78 overall. So look at the positions he can play. A 77 overall quarterback, 79 overall halfback. Okay, he's a 78 overall receiver. And I think maybe that's kind of where we need him this year, to have 2 big threats at wide receiver. He's a decent cornerback at 77 overall, 79 overall free safety. That's the best position he would be at. But I don't think we need him. Our defense is pretty good. To be a 77 overall quarterback, my God. What kind of speed does he have? 92 speed, 84 acceleration. I mean, he is a junior. I don't think we're going to need him at quarterback, so I think we're going to toss him in at wide receiver. Yeah, that's looking a lot better, having these 5 guys start for us at wide receiver. Our top 2 are pretty solid players. After some training, there were some amazing results. Nathan Quinn is an 87 overall. He got +6 to his overall, 90 acceleration, 84 speed. Herb Kirk, our senior, who was one of our hardest hitters last year at free safety, 83 overall now. Such a great improvement. Let's go look by position. Quarterbacks, looks like Orlando Everett had a better training session, 77 overall. Tom Barrett went down to up to 75 overall. Robbie Diggs is a 74 overall. Where's our JUCO quarterback? Did he not have a good training session? I mean, Orlando Everett wants to start. He's almost 80 overall. Let's see how his throw power and accuracy improved. That's the most important thing to me. I mean, still not quite there. Obviously Tom Barrett's got the better arm here, and Diggs actually has a very solid arm. Now, he might be more of a balanced quarterback, but maybe this is someone we look at too. Halfback-wise, Nathan Quinn, a complete animal, 87 overall. Then we have the sophomore Jaron Roden at 75 overall. And, I mean, that's about it that we really need at halfback. Fullback, no training data. Wide receiver, Scruggs, +6, 79 overall. Wow. Okay, Golden +6. We're seeing some really big improvement from some of these guys this season. Our offensive line doesn't look too hot, though. Our center's good. I mean, that's all that matters, really, I guess. The right side of our line, though. Ooh, that right guard position. Okay, left end not looking too good. Dykes looks pretty good for a new season. Baldwin looking okay. Rawlings looking good. What about our linebacker situation? Price, 78 overall. That's nice. 70 overall Ross Jennings. I mean, we like playing around with Jennings. 78 overall House. Man, our linebackers are looking stacked this year. Cornerback situation, not great. Free safety, obviously, Herb Kirk, just a complete animal. Brooks looking better. He got some improvement on speed. Our kicker, 76 overall now. That's not bad. And our punter is 82 overall. Hey, I'm liking it. We have 3 too many players, and I think this is where we're going to have to make some cuts. Obviously, this JUCO that looked like was going to be a starter before training didn't make any improvements, so he's actually last on our depth chart. I mean, these guys are all sophomores. He's a junior. By the time he starts, he's just he's not going to be able to start. These guys are sophomores, and they're much better than him. And over the training session, I think he's just not going to ever catch up to Orlando Everett or Tom Barrett. So I think we're going to let David Neal go. We recruited him hard all year, but, I mean, he's just not going to blossom really into much of anything. I mean, he doesn't have much speed or anything. He's considered a scrambler, but only 76 speed, so, and his acceleration 70, so not really a scrambler. We're letting him go. 66 overall halfback. He's a sophomore. There's 3 sophomores ahead of him. He's never going to see the field, so Brian Austin, he's going to be cut as well. Oh, I hate to cut this senior wide receiver, Ralph Morrow, but he's right now number 8 on the depth chart, and he's a senior, so he's never going to see action. I think we're just going to let this man go, clear up some roster space. And this guy was a complete bust. He lost 6 points of overall during training. I think we're going to just let him go. He's not going to shape up to be anything. So it's time to set up custom conferences, and I think we're going to move the South Canadian Geese to a different conference. This has been highly requested. ACC's a little bit too stiff a competition, I think, for us just yet. But the Sun Belt's a good option. I think the Mountain or the MAC conference is a good option. I mean, let's look at moving us to the Sun Belt, okay? And we could replace, or we could just add a team here to the east side of things. That's not bad, and we could play pretty difficult teams here. Florida Atlantic, ECU, Marshall, Mid-10 State, UAB, Southern Miss. I mean, that's not too bad. Maybe though we move maybe to I don't know. Let's continue. Let's go look at maybe the American Conference. That would make a lot of sense. But this conference is tough. This one would be a real tough conference. I mean, I don't think we'd be winning this anytime soon. You know what? Let's move the Wild Geese to the American Conference. That makes a lot of sense. And done. And since we can reset our coach skill tree, I think we're going to do that because I kind of want to throw these points onto some different stuff. So let's do, let's undo that. We don't want locksmith, so let's undo that. Let's reset these skill trees. So what I want to do, I think, is make scouting a bit easier. I think that's a good way to go about things. Make the opener a bit easier, obviously, because we're starting recruiting this season. Royal treatment for visits. I think this is a good way to start off this next season. Now, we have one upgrade available. I'll make the closer already a level 1 just because I feel like that's a good way to move forward. Now, we have these. These weren't reset, so we're going to leave them how they are. I like how our defensive and offensive coordinator are working, so that should be good for recruiting. Now, we are moving into the preseason, so I kind of want to edit these rosters after names of you guys. So, some of our new freshman recruits, if you guys want to play a certain position and want your name in this game and in this series, let me know what your name is that you want to go by and what position you'd like to play. And if we have a freshman at that position, I'll fill your guys' name in and you'll be that player. And if you ever get to start, you could see yourself in this series. So leave comments down below with your names and the positions you like to play. And if we have a freshman at that position, you could be a starter on the Wild Geese one day. Let's start off preseason by redshirting some players. So let's go to the quarterback position. We could redshirt Everett and give Tom Barrett the official start this season. He is a decent quarterback, and we do have Nathan Quinn who's ruling the ground. We could do the option and speed options with Orlando Everett, but I think maybe letting him mature a season on the sideline wouldn't be a half bad ask. We would only have 2 quarterbacks with Robbie Diggs and Tom Barrett, but I think that's a smart move to redshirt Orlando Everett. Let him come back as a sophomore next season. And, hey, he'll have 3 years left and probably be in the 80s of overall, which will be great. And then we have this sophomore halfback, which I think can amount to something in the future. We already have 4 halfbacks. I think redshirting him's a no-brainer. Fullback, we only have 1. We're not going to redshirt him. Wide receiver position, I think Eric Bell, who we just recruited, he's going to get the redshirt this season. I think he's a solid player. I think he'll be a really great player after next year's training, probably in the mid-70s. I'm looking forward to him getting the start then. But until then, I think we're going to put him on the sideline. And I kind of want to redshirt Kennard Williams, this senior, because this junior can take his place who already has the red shirt. So we're going to do that. He's a 70 overall after training, maybe going back into his senior redshirt year. He'll be in the mid-70s, and he'll just set us up for a better season next year. Tight end-wise, I mean, we rarely use 2 tight ends, so I think Chauncey Robinson, this freshman, will redshirt, and maybe after training next season, he'll be in the mid-60s. And be a good backup tight end if recruiting goes well this year. Our new freshman center is going to get the red shirt because we have a senior center and a junior center ahead of him. The senior center is actually looking pretty good this season, so we'll redshirt him, and hopefully by the time he gets to start his sophomore or so redshirt year, he'll be in the 70 overall category. We have so many right guards. I'm going to redshirt these 2 freshmen, hoping that they can develop into something big. Let the junior and sophomore be backups for our starting freshman right guard TC Powell. I think I might redshirt this freshman left end. He is better than any player we have, but I do think if we let him blossom another year and then he has 4 years left to blossom, we could be looking at a 90 overall player by the time he leaves college or even better. So I think this is for the better of the future. 70 overall talent, give him a year to learn the scheme, give him a year to get better, and maybe next year he'll be in the high 70s when he comes out to start as a freshman redshirt. Let the junior or the senior take the start this year. Most likely Clark Newell will get it. Freshman right end, we're definitely going to put him on redshirt this season. Joe Brown, he's going to be an absolute animal in a couple of years. Obviously these guys are juniors. We just have to wait to see what happens. Paris Dykes, we're definitely going to let him play out these next 2 years. So by the time he's a sophomore redshirt, he'll be probably getting the start. Freshman linebacker, he's going to get a red shirt himself too. And this freshman middle linebacker, he doesn't have much going for himself right now, but maybe he'll develop. This freshman right outside linebacker, Kevin McCoy, is amazing. I bet in a few years he'll be in the low 80 to mid 80 overall, so we're definitely going to redshirt him. We're going to redshirt just one of these freshman cornerbacks. I think we'll probably just go with the lowest overall. Hope he can blossom into something. We have 4 freshman cornerbacks, so it's not like we have to conserve age or anything. 2 senior free safeties, Jared Dottie and Herb Kirk. I mean, I think we're going to let Jared Dottie have the red shirt this year. He's got good speed, but I just think we want him back next season. And we're going to redshirt this freshman strong safety because I think going into his freshman redshirt year, he'll definitely be ready to take over for the senior Boyd Brooks. We're going to redshirt our freshman kicker as well, as our junior kicker is going to come in, try to finish things off, and maybe we'll have a mid-80 overall kicker by next season. Depth chart-wise, this is how we're looking at quarterback. Definitely having Tom Barrett start. Robbie Diggs is going to be in second string. Obviously, there's competition here for the starting spot. They're both pocket passers. If we go down here, though, Tom Barrett's got a bit better awareness, but the throw power and throw accuracy are pretty even. Actually, a little bit better accuracy for Robbie Diggs. So we'll just have to see if Tom Barrett has a bad game. Robbie Diggs might get the nod this season. Robbie Diggs is bigger than Tom Barrett. Oh, God. Obviously, Nathan Quinn will be getting the start on halfback. I like how these wide receivers are lining up. 3 over 74 overall. That's really good. Tight end situation, not great. Harmon's going to be our starting tight end. He was okay last year, so, I mean, we'll just have to see what he can do. He is a senior, though. After that, we're stuck with Jensen. We do have a tight end, though, that is redshirted, so maybe he'll improve before next season. Let's look at our custom schedule. So it's a C rating already just because of conference play being so tough. You know, we got some decent teams we're taking on this year. Look at number 16, Florida. That's a fun way to end the season. Okay, so what we should do is probably try to face off against some better opponents. I think we got to take on number 1 Alabama in our season opener at Alabama. That's probably the best way to do things. That's going to be probably a crushing defeat, but it's a good way to gauge how good we are against top team talent. We're going to have a little bit of a tune-up game against Georgia State. This should be an interesting matchup after facing number 1 Alabama. And then we're going to travel to Army and take on the U.S. Army. It's not an attack on the nation. Just want to get that straight. And then I like ending the season with Florida. That's very interesting. This schedule's pretty tough. I don't think it could get much tougher. Obviously, we could replace Georgia State and Army with a bit tougher teams, but I like how this schedule's kind of looking. Alabama, then Georgia State. Then we start conference play at UCF. Then Cincinnati comes to us. Rutgers comes to us. Then Louisville we travel to. Then Temple we travel to. Then Connecticut comes to us. Then we go to Army, and then we go to Houston. And then we go to Florida. That's a 3-game away streak. Oh, my God. Do we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 home games this year? That's not right. We got to have Army come to us and maybe Florida come to us. Just because, I mean, that kind of evens things up a bit. 5 and 7. That seems kind of fair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, okay, we'll go to Florida. There we go. So that makes things a little bit even. A little bit more even, having Army come to us. Now it's time to set up our recruiting board. So the interesting thing is we have a lot of freshmen on this team now. Actually, quite a bit of freshmen, sophomore talent. So we have a relatively young team. So we're not going to be in dire need to fill positions because we have a lot of seniors anytime soon. Let's kind of see the team needs right now, where we need to improve. I mean, fullback position, tight end position, and then obviously the offensive line. Those are priority number 1. So tight ends, offensive line, and fullback. Obviously, fullback's not too crazy of a priority. On defense, we need new defensive tackles. Need to look at some middle linebackers, some more corners and strong safeties. But it's going to be interesting. We don't have too many seniors, so I'm not too worried. But let's get into recruiting. So I just want to see who are the best candidates we have that are interested in us. So we have some 3-star candidates. Do we have any 4-star candidates? That's my... Ooh, we have some 4-star candidates. That's nice. Okay, a 4-star tight end. So let's kind of go through who's interested first. Only find some top talent, though, obviously. We need to rebuild that offensive line. We do have a nice young center who should be coming in, but it wouldn't hurt to have another one. Obviously, we need some tackles. Our tackle position is pretty weak right now. Trying to improve on that. Tight end and halfback at 2 and 1-star. We're not even interested in that this season. We'll look at this 65 overall tight end. Not going to look at that quarterback. Not even that corner or tackle. These guys are all just not of our interest anymore. This tight end has us 3rd in interest. He's a 4-star caliber tight end. 270 pounds, 6'3". Guy's a beast. Let's continue down here. Center 69 overall. And that guy's better than the center we looked at up here. So let's just get rid of him. Just clear our board. We're trying to be really smart with recruiting this season and just get the best of the best. Now, 65 overall tight end wouldn't be a bad addition to our team. We're in need of tight ends. 67 overall guard, that's pretty good. 65 overall guard, I mean, we can pick them up. They are interested in us, and that's all that really matters right now. 65 overall fullback, someone that's pretty interested in us. And let's continue down. We're only looking for good recruits, though. We don't want any of these 2-stars or 1-stars. It's just not something that interests us. Oh, here we go. That's a pretty solid tight end. We're probably going to have to take some tight ends off the board. We don't want to be recruiting like 30 tight ends. And, okay, this is 4th level interest, 5th level interest. Outside linebacker, we really badly need one of them. 73 overall, 70 overall tight end. Okay, we're going to have to readdress the tight end position after this because there's just too many tight ends interested in playing for us. Tackle, defensive tackle. Okay, so let's go look at our recruiting board, and let's remove some of these tight ends, obviously. We don't need to recruit like 30 tight ends. Okay, so I think we're going to remove this 65 overall tight end. We're going to remove this 65 overall tight end and maybe this 67. We only need to go after 2 tight ends. Hope to get 1. We have 1 on redshirt, so, we'll just go after those 2. We're not going to go after this 63 overall guard. 65 and 68, that's low enough. Hopefully these guys turn out to be gems. These 2 guards are pretty decent. A decent center. And then I want to go after some blue chip recruits, okay? Some blue chip prospects like this athlete right here, 5-star. These guys are like low locks right now, only 13% right now. Another 76 5-star athlete. These are the kind of guys we want to start to recruit a little bit on, just because they can literally play any position, and mostly a lot of offense and defensive secondary ones. This halfback would be a good go after. But otherwise, we've targeted a ton of people that are interested in going for us, and now it's time to target some flyers that we can maybe go hard on all season, and we're in a better conference. We have a decent schedule. If we can do okay this season, we should be in good shape to maybe secure some of these guys. We'll look at some of these cornerbacks. Obviously, some of these guys are going to be real long shots. We do need to look at like a strong safety position. We need to look at some defensive tackles. So here's a 4-star defensive tackle. Another 4-star defensive tackle. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be long shots. They're not even interested in attending our school. But the long shots are sometimes what pays off the most, and that's true. The best quarterback in the nation is only a 15% lock. I mean, let's put him on our board. We're going hard on recruiting this season. And the best running back's a 17% lock. We'll toss him on our board too. Best fullback's about an 18% lock. We'll toss him on. Decent wide receivers we'll add to the board. Okay, we filled our board up. Now let's look at the best overall players. So we have a lot of athletes on our board. So let's scout to 100%. So he's an 80 overall. He's not a gem, or he's not a bust. I mean, not bad. This free safety, let's scout him to 100 points. Okay, 81 overall, decent speed. So we badly need some offensive linemen. We badly need some decent running back talent. Let's scout this man right here. He's going to drop 1 in overall. Okay, let's see what some of our offensive linemen are looking like. This outside linebacker. Okay, a little bit of an improvement there. Okay, so here we go. So we got a tackle, and he's kind of a bust. This guard is... oh, he's a severe bust. Okay, let's remove him. We do not want prospects like that. What about this guard, sitting at 65 overall? Okay, let's see what he's all about. 66 overall. This tackle, 66 overall. I mean, let's see what this fullback's shaping up to be. A bust, okay? See, these are the players we want to avoid. Okay, this guard, we've already scouted him. Defensive tackle, we need these players. Center, he's kind of a bust too. Wow, we're finding a lot of just like non-desirable players down here. This defensive tackle, I mean, he's not a bust, and these guys are a lot better than a lot of the players we have already on our team. Oh my God, guy's a beast. Some of these athletes are just amazing. Ooh, a gem! The defensive tackle, Brian Quinn. Okay, we're going to toss everything we got at this guy. Some of these guys really aren't moving all that much. Throwing some points their way, 81 overall. This cornerback is 76 overall. Okay, I mean, some decent players. We got to fill up our board a little bit more, though. Making sure our schedule's stuck, and it did. That's good. Now let's move on to the regular season and see how we shape up overall. Here we are in a new season, 2014. Will it be the year of the Geese? Preseason polls. Wow, okay, they don't have us ranked anywhere near the top 25. Let's continue down and see where we land. Okay. Not too bad. Not as bad as I thought. 67. Okay, and we got some decent improvements. We're 72 overall, and we have a 74 offense and a 71 defense. And we're now a 2-star prestige school. We were only 63 overall last season, so we've made some serious strides in recruiting, and I really hope this year swinging for the fences pays off, and maybe we can get into the low 80s next season. Here's the conference outlook, and this is how they predict it to finish. We're going to finish 7th in their opinion, above USF, Rutgers, and SMU. Now, if you look at all these teams, their overalls are at least 10 to 20 better than us. a lot of them being around the 10 to 15 mark, but Louisville, oh my God, they could crush us. But hey, Cincinnati won a huge bowl game last season. It just goes to prove that, hey, anything can happen here in the NCAA. I mean, we're going to have a lot of stiff competition. Obviously, UCF, Louisville, those are going to be scary games. Those teams are in the 90 overall category. Obviously, this 88 UConn and this 88 Rutgers, they're going to be difficult to defeat. This conference is just going to beat up on us for the next couple of years until we can really build our team. So let's apply some recruiting points. We have 6,500. We're a preseason type of recruiter. We're going to try to, I guess, convince some of our best players that they belong here over the next few weeks. Obviously, we play Alabama in our first matchup. That's not going to be an easy game. A lot of these teams have Alabama on their board, so, I mean, we'll see how that kind of pans out. We're going to go 350 for some of these top recruits, over 80 overall, and then we're going to kind of adjust down from there. We want to get these guys scholarship offers early as well. This fullback, I don't think we need to dedicate this much at him, but he would be nice to have in the backfield blocking for some of our nice, talented halfbacks. Defensive tackle, Brian Quinn. This guy was a gem. Definitely want to toss quite a bit at this guy. Now, a lot of these guys were interested in playing for us. I'd say probably about half of them at least. The rest we kind of are just going after to go after them. But we do have a very decent recruiting board here, and I'm extremely excited for it. A lot of these athletes, I think, are going to be great additions to the Wild Geese team, but we do have to have a good season. I mean, looking at that conference schedule and how we match up against some of these teams, I mean, I'd be kind of shocked if we did go 6-6 this season. If we make a bowl game, if we get a bowl game bid, I think we're going to get a lot of these recruits. We're just going to have a really good year. And I mean, we were 63 overall last season, beating 80 overall teams. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we could pull the upset off on a 70 overall team, or 90 overall team, because we are in the mid-70s overall ourselves. But last season, Cincinnati went on to win a huge bowl game, and they're only 84 overall. So, I mean, anything's possible. It's going to be a long, tough season. So, I'm going to fill out this recruiting board, and then we'll kind of go over it. We got the recruiting board filled out. It's going to be a tough year of recruiting. Obviously, we have a lot of young talent, a lot of people on redshirt. I think after this season, a lot of those players are going to develop into decent players, and we're probably going to improve to about a 78 overall as a team. And if we can get some decent recruits this year, we're probably looking at the low 80s for next year, like 80, 81, 82 overall. And then next year could be a good competition year. This year's definitely a rebuild year, trying to convince recruits to come over here to the Wild Geese team and trying to make players that we currently have better. We do have a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, and a lot of people on redshirt that will be significantly better next season. So I got my fingers crossed that this year is going to be great for rebuilding the team. Obviously, we had a great season last season. I expect this season to be a lot tougher. Probably, I hope to go 6-6. I would love to go 7-5, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think more realistically, we might be looking at a 5-7 season or a 4-8 season. It's going to be tough, but we're going to try to push through it. And if we can get to a bowl game in this conference, well, we could be looking at some solid recruits committing to us in the offseason. But guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And until next time, peace out.